Welcome to the 61st episode of the Mayor's Mixtape. I'm Haley Sue Robinson, Director of Public Affairs for the City of Pueblo.
I'm Heather Graham, City of Pueblo Mayor.
Brian McCain, Chief of Staff.
And I want to remind the listener, you can find us on YouTube, Buzzsprout, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. You can also watch us on local Channel 17. And don't forget, if you have questions or topic suggestions, you can email us, mayor@pueblo.us. Mayor, last night we had pretty full council chambers to start the meeting last night. I think maybe we should just come right out and talk about it, and maybe address why the Project Falcon MOU was not on the agenda last night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not really sure why the council chambers were so full of PEDCO board members, but I would assume it's because a council member called them and asked them to come and cheer them on, is what I would assume. So,
okay.
Project Falcon. So the big project that everyone's talking about in the community that we can't talk about because we're all under NDA. The reason that it's not on the agenda is because Project Falcon has not agreed to allow City Council to talk about what the project manufactures.
Okay.
And that's really an important part when you're going to be having public hearings to talk about incentivizing a company at $65 million in half-cent sales tax funds to come into our community. City Council needs the latitude to be able to discuss that on the dais. The public needs to know what this company manufactures, and then they need to be able to weigh in on whether they want that type of manufacturing in the community, that they want to use all the half-cent sales tax fund to incentivize. And I think that they want to know what other types of incentive packages are they getting throughout the community, right? Because it's all taxpayer dollars, whether it's Pueblo County, Urban Renewal Authority, City of Pueblo, State of Colorado. This is the people's money. And so I think that in order for City Council to make a non-biased decision, which I think is going to be very hard, because I do have city councilors talking to Project Falcon, sending Project Falcon confidential city information. And so I think it's going to be kind of hard for a couple, maybe 3 or 4 of these council people to come in with an open mind and hear from the public on whether they want to see this type of incentive package roll forward.
And the reason this MOU was not on the agenda is because we can't talk about what type of manufacturer they are.
Yep.
But what does it look like, I guess, for next steps, or where are we in this process?
City will try to negotiate the NDA to allow us. They have, given us certain talking points that we can talk about. Councilman Hernandez pretty much touched on all of those talking points last night in his commentary. But at the end of the day, that doesn't give the community a picture, the overall picture, the magnitude of this project. And I think the most important thing for the community to know is what these jobs are going to be making.
Sure. So will there be a work session, or will we see, will it just come up on first reading?
It'll come up on first reading, I would assume, if we can work through that NDA process.
Sure. Okay. And then that's when the public will have the opportunity to learn more about Project Falcon. And then the MOU is separate from an actual agreement?
Yeah, so the MOU is non-binding.
Okay.
And as I said last night, it really just signals to the community and the other taxing entities that the City of Pueblo
that we're ready,
is willing to do $65 million. And it kind of will put into play what everybody else needs to do. So
okay.
There's
we're kind of the catalyst.
A lot of moving parts, a lot of people, a lot of entities wanting to see what move the city makes first before they're even willing to have discussions with their boards. It's costly to do the studies and the plans, etc. So I think once the city decides, that will really signal to the community moving forward what that looks like. And then you'll see a whole nother incentive package come to the agenda that will have their name, the company's name, and all of the information at that time. It all has to be public when those agreements come before City Council.
Okay, so it would no longer, the ordinance that would come before council would no longer say Project Falcon. It would say the name of the company.
Has to say the name.
And who we're entering an agreement with.
All the specifics within the job incentive agreements, just like all the other ones.
Okay.
So you're looking at probably 2 more votes from City Council before it even happens.
Okay. So that's next steps, and we'll see what happens next.
Yeah. Yeah, last night was interesting. You know, we had a citizen come up and, you know, talk about how the city has no expertise when it comes to economic development, which I thought was particularly rude. Because the city is trying to pick up the pieces, right? I mean, we're in the middle of a lawsuit with Petco because they committed fraud. And still you have people showing up to city council to support that effort. And I can't imagine why that is. It's like trickery. But when they talk about the city not being experts in anything, I mean, it is the city who does all of the horizontal work for all of these economic development projects, right? Whether people want to believe it or not, when it comes to annexation, subdivision, wastewater, stormwater, utilities, it is the city of Pueblo who orchestrates all of that work that's done. So I think we have some pretty amazing people who work for the city who are intelligent and are experts within their own field. I mean, I'm not even an expert, and I can tell you that the city's come a long way when it comes to economic development, and what we've been able to do just in the last year, whether it's bringing primary jobs or other things that tie into economic development. I mean, for citizens to show up at city council and, you know, say the city's the worst ever, that's unfortunate and unnecessary and completely uncalled for.
Okay. I don't think
if you want to know how I really feel.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't think we're confused about how you feel, man.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm disappointed. But so I guess we'll hear what the court has to say about all of that moving forward, and maybe that'll be a little more eye-opening for the community when we get to that point.
Sure.
But until then, Advance Pueblo is still here. Will still be here, even though Councilman Gomez, I think, tried to order a cease and desist on the mayor saying Advance Pueblo or having anything to do with Advance Pueblo, which is really against my First Amendment rights, so I'm not sure how he's going to play that one off, but TBD.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll find out an update on that one.
I can't wait.
I think maybe what I may do is go back and listen to this episode and listen to how many times you say Advanced Pueblo, and then we'll have like a guessing game, like a little clue.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, regardless of what I want to call anything,
sure,
within my office as the mayor of this community, city council thinking they can limit my free speech, I mean, they might get themselves in trouble.
Sure.
Yeah. TBD.
Okay. Well, that's how council started. It wasn't a super long night, but we had some really good things that happened last night. We had something that I call essentially like a cleanup ordinance last night with Stephen Meyer, our director of parks, about e-bikes on paths that are not bike paths or river trails. Formerly in the ordinance, it said by the director, unless specified or permitted by the director. So we cleaned it up to say the director of Parks and Recreation, because otherwise it was just like, who is that director?
It was you.
Maybe it was me.
Director of Public Affairs.
Yeah. It's
When
maybe
e-bikes.
That'd be cool. Is that a public affair?
I think it might be.
I think it could be.
Yeah.
But thankfully last night we cleaned it up. Now we know that it's the director of Parks and Recreation. So I I did want to bring that one up, though, because recently you have heard a lot of feedback, I would say, about e-bikes. We went to a middle school about 2 weeks ago, and I think you probably fielded close to 10 to 15 questions about your feelings on e-bikes. So at first, when they asked these questions, I was thinking of e-bikes like in this ordinance, which is like electric pedal assist bikes, right? Mm-hmm. That's not what the students were talking about, and they wanted you to
make dirt bikes legal,
legalize dirt bikes, electric dirt bikes. So I didn't know if we were going to have any kids show up last night and say, "Mayor, make it legal."
You did it.
Yeah. So I thought I'd bring that one up. Also, we had 2 ordinance passed about the West Side Connector project. That is the RAISE grant, which is one of the largest grants the city has ever received. So we've already done some of that project with updates to transit, with bus stops and ADA compliance, and now we're starting the next phase of development. And one thing in particular was the design for the BNSF, the railway, and the building of an overpass. So that was passed last night. I know there's going to be additional information coming about the West Side Connector project, but that's exciting because for years, and I mean still even now, it's just been really difficult to access the West Side. And from here at City Hall, getting over to Fire Station 11, you got to
go through the park,
go a back road or down the boulevard, and it's like big and around, and it's not a very direct route. So, it seems like this is a long process, but at the same time, we've been waiting, decades for anything to happen with a connection from downtown to the West Side. So good to see some progress happening there. We also, council had a 7-0 vote for the MOU with Friends of City Park and the Historic Pueblo Inc. group. I think one thing in particular that was maybe misunderstood, and I saw some chatter online too, was that maybe you were gatekeeping this MOU to come forward. I know we discussed it previously on a podcast that they were waiting for their nonprofit status.
They still don't have it,
Yeah, so that's why Historic Pueblo was brought on as a fellow nonprofit so that they could accept grant funds.
Yeah.
So I just thought maybe we should clarify that as well. That it wasn't necessarily about the mayor's
misinformation.
Yeah, the mayor's.
I thought Councilor Boston's questions were on point though about what happens if they don't raise the money.
Sure.
And the second that they spend $1 of that grant, if they receive it, that puts a historical landmark on that property for 25 years.
Okay.
And the city will have to go in and use city dollars to then fix the property. So I thought that was a good question. I was surprised that hasn't been thought through by the rest of city council about what happens if they don't,
if the funding's not secured,
raise the funding and it's not secured. How is the city going to go in and make those restrooms operational again? So, but hopefully we don't get to that point, and hopefully Friends of City Park are able to restore it, and we have working bathrooms next summer. I think he said it would be done.
Yeah. Hopefully in time for the state tennis tournament. Yep. I think we normally host that in May.
Yeah.
So, that would be great. Okay. We also had an ordinance approving the Morningstar Creations Vinewood Park skateboard park. And that came through a grant funded with Colorado Health Foundation. I know this is something that folks have been looking forward to, and it's more in a neighborhood park rather than, say, at City Park or even at El Centro, where we see other skateboard park amenities. So that's exciting for the community as well.
Yeah, Brian. to Brian in the back. And, yeah, he's been working hard to get this project done, so kudos.
Yeah, and great to see him secure a grant to do the funding for this as well. So, well, it was kind of short and sweet otherwise for City Council last night. Was there anything else you wanted to add, Mayor?
No, I think we covered all the
We kind of covered
highlights.
it. Yeah.
Short meeting.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, we do have the first reading of the fallen officer
Oh, yes. Yeah, we had that last night.
memorial. So I went to that celebration memorial on the 15th of May and, decided that it was time to try to help them get that paid for. So
Yeah, that's been something that has been in the works for
5 years.
Yeah, over 5 years.
Yeah,
And
they've raised $120,000. So I've asking City Council to fund the large portion of unfunded with salary savings from the police department,
okay.
ARPA interest. I've asked the county commissioners to fund $40,000 of the project, and the Urban Renewal Authority to fund $25,000 out of their downtown reserve. So hopefully we're going to see that project fully funded after the next regular meeting in June. So I think it's great for the community.
And nice to see some collaboration with multiple entities putting in the funding.
Yeah.
Cool. That'll be great.
Yeah.
Okay. We also have town halls starting tonight. We'll be at the George Williams Banquet Hall, which is at City Park. All of your town halls start at 5:30. So we'll start this evening. And then we have one next Tuesday at the Rawlings Library in Brett Kelly A Room. Then we have one the following Tuesday on June 9th at Lucero Library. And then we wrap up on Thursday, June 11th at the YMCA. So 4 different town halls talking about budget. Folks can come ask you budget questions maybe about 2026, where we are now. And then looking forward to 2027 and what does that look like, and, potential ideas or concerns or whatever that may look like.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
It's going to be more of a networking, working.
Yeah. I think it'll give an opportunity for folks to get some clarification.
Yeah.
Maybe ask some very specific questions that they have about their neighborhood or something that is important to them.
Yeah.
And so they'll be able to ask those questions. Great. Anything else you want to add, Mayor?
That's it.
Okay, that sounds good. Want to remind you can find us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Buzzsprout, wherever you get your podcasts, and you can find us on local channel 17. If you have questions, topic suggestions, you can email us, mayor@pueblo.us, and we'll see you next week.